Suddenly the Kraken lets go of the ship and it starts moving. There's a problem. The speedboat is still stuck. If the ship departs, they won't be able to escape anymore with the speedboat. So Elien decides to go to the bow and stop the ship using the anchor. The crew will try to keep the Kraken busy in the meantime. Skeleton, main mast, to below deck, to the bow. You have reached home. Go anchor. Elien doesn't waste a second and uses all his strength to drag the anchor and toss it into the sea. It worked. The anchor sank into the sea, and now the ship stops moving. The others are doing well. Even the speedboat is free, and the crew is going aboard. Now Elien should do the same. Or so he thinks, at least. Right after the first step toward the main deck, the Kraken swings a tentacle outside the view of Elien, and since he let his guard down for a moment, he barely notices the threat coming and gets hit. The blow makes him fall straight into the sea. A few seconds later, he loses consciousness. When Elien opens his eyes, he's still dazed. His sight is blurry. The sound of the waves, the sand on his face, and then a female figure in the distance that gets closer to him. Elien is exhausted and faints again. Meanwhile, how much time has passed? Elien wakes up, but he can't move, except his head. He's strapped to an electric chair. He quickly needs to figure out where he is and what's happening. You have reached Hidden Cave, Torture Chamber. Saving point. You saved the game. Needles. On a chair there are many metal needles. They are about 15 centimeters long. Tub. It contains some water. There's a sponge inside. Electric chair. It looks like a custom model. Since there are no wires, the battery must be included. Elien is restricted and his limbs are blocked. He can only actually move his head. A few moments later, the door opens. A woman enters the chamber. It must be the same that Elien saw before fainting the second time. She's tall, beautiful. Her long scarlet hair sways with each step. Her blue eyes stand out due to the contrast with her hair. She gets close and leans toward Elien. Then she slowly makes a big smile and shows her teeth on purpose. There's no doubt. She's a vampire. His reaction is not the one she expected, so she tells him that she's surprised, as it looks like Elien has already seen a vampire. She introduces herself. She is Deus and asks his name, but Elien won't answer her question. He wants to know why she restrained him and where they are. Deus starts to laugh and tells Elien that where they are is not important. Why she's doing this, he will know that very, very soon. Deus adds that if he's shy and doesn't want to say his name, that's no problem. They will have a lot of time to get to know each other better. But the time to chat is over, and, as Elien tries to reply, she immediately applies to his mouth a wooden bite with leather, which laces up behind his neck. Elien gets angry, but he can only moan. Words won't come out. A sick smile comes across her face. Now it's time to start. Deus explains what she's going to do and describes the properties of the electric chair. The voltage is regulated in a way so it's not deadly, as she wants to play with Elien. Now she finally activates the electricity. Elian starts to spasm as if he's having convulsions and screams like hell. Elian will have to resist the torture. He cannot attack Deus or drink blood vials, so he must focus on his defense. Get ready for a harsh trial. He has no more blood vials. Double tap to continue. Many hours later, when the electric chair is turned off, the torture finally ends. But that's not how the torture has continued in the meantime. With her long leather gloves, which are part of her dress, she slowly removes the metal needles which were embedded between his fingers and nails. The blood keeps coming out as he suffers tremendously. Elian clearly sees Deus chuckling and licking her red lips tastefully during the process. In the end, she meticulously cleans the needles. Then she gently caresses his hair while she compliments him for resisting, and finally removes from Elian's mouth the bite, which is covered in drool. He doesn't even have the strength to say something. Before leaving, she wishes sweet dreams to Elian. They will play again tomorrow. Then she closes the door. Now he's alone in the room. Tub, electric, door, lever, saving point. You saved the game. Walls. Elian looks around. The walls don't have an opening, not even a small window. He's not able to determine whether it's day or night. Needles. When the needles came into play, he never felt such intense pain before. He also fainted many times, but Deus definitely was not in a hurry. When the needles came into play, he never felt such intense pain before. He also fainted many times, but Deus definitely was not in a hurry. The worst part was when she turned the electric chair on again, while the metal needles were still embedded in his body. He doesn't want to remember that. He can't even close his hands. Ceiling. Unlike the ground, which is polished, the ceiling is clearly one of a natural cave. Tub. If Elian thought for a moment that after all he could bear the electricity somehow, then he had to change his mind when she wet him with the sponge. If Elian's electric chair. Elian collapses into a long sleep, or so he thinks, because he suddenly gets woken up by a tub of water. Deus returned. He doesn't know how much he slept, but since she had time to change the tools in the room, his sleep must have been really deep. Even the electric chair has been removed. Instead, his body lies on the floor and is restricted by chains fixed on the wall nearby. She actually even took his shirt and jacket. She greets Elian and asks for forgiveness as she made him wait so long. Deus was enchanted while staring at the wounds she caused him yesterday. But what surprised her the most was how fast they regenerated. She tells Elian that he is clearly not a human, but Deus has never heard of him among the vampires. She kneels before him and softly puts her hands on his cheeks, and with the right thumb she lifts his upper lip. His teeth confirm that Elian is not a vampire. Deus asks him if he's a Dhampir. Elian won't answer, but she smiles and chuckles as if she knew the answer already. With an impulse of anger, he tries to bite her hand and to grab her with his hands, but the chains won't allow that. Deus swiftly dodges the bite and, without changing her expression, she punches his face. The impact smashes him violently against the wall. Even though she's a vampire, Elian didn't expect such a strength. She must be a high-born vampire. There's a chance that actually she wouldn't even need to block his movements to prevail against Elian. Still, he doesn't understand why she's living here. Vampires are used to luxurious manors or castles, but it looks like she lives in a cave instead. There's one more thing that she wants to know. The scar, the one on his chest caused by Dracula. Her fingers slowly slip along the scar, and she can't help but comment how perfect that cut is. Not only that, she can even see Elian's captured essence of Dhampir. Deus also says that even his true name has been stolen. Without any doubt, she can tell for sure that this is Dracula's doing. Deus says that Dracula surely knows how to play with his friends, but she likes a more direct approach. Anyway, she's disappointed that Dracula arrived before her. So she will start with Elian's back. He wants to know more about what she just said, but Deus interrupts him, telling that if he must bark that much, then he should do it while wearing a collar. So she applies a red collar on his neck against his will. Then finally she puts an eye mask on him. With his ears, Elian can hear Deus going out of the room, and some minutes later returning. He can smell the scent of candles and something that makes him turn pale. Boiling oil. Deus is amused as she watches his reaction and gets close to Elian to make him smell the tools that will be used today better. She touches her lips to his left ear and whispers that now they will have a lot of fun. Without sight, her voice seems even deeper than usual. And so Deus starts. The boiling wax is poured on Elian's back. It's time to resist another torture. Swipe left to load the last saved game. You have reached Hidden Cave, Torture Chamber.